You know, I ended up in crack houses, and you know, that's where my addiction took me. When you come out of it, I look back on my life now, I think, fucking sad. It's one way, and that's lose everything.
So when someone's addicted to gambling, what part of it are you addicted to? Are you trying to win back money that you've lost, or is it that feeling when the bet goes on?
The bet goes on. It's
Right.
that buzz. It's the buzz of the bet. It's the excitement. Then, as soon as that bet finishes, a compulsive gambler will be looking for the next bet.
No matter what
It
they've lost.
doesn't matter what happens. You know, if they've got money to have the next bet, if they haven't got the money, you know, it gets into, with me, it got into such a, into situations of, I couldn't stop gambling, that it could go on for days and days, and you couldn't sleep, you can't concentrate, you're never in the moment because all you think is looking at your phone. And then it gets to a stage where you lose it. When it's all gone, after a certain amount of time, you go, I ain't got to do that again today.
When you've run out.
Yeah, it's weird. But you don't get that feeling when you're winning so much money. You think, just take the money. Right. You don't take the money. You don't take it. You know, compulsive gamblers want to just keep on gambling. You know, I could be like, say, £10,000 up and have a £3,000 bet, and the £3,000 bet loses. Now, a normal gambler will go, well, I'm winning £7,000 still. Yeah. Compulsive gambler will, well, I need to win that £3,000 back.
Right, okay.
And that £3,000 could cost me £50,000 to get back.
Right.
You know, the rationale, you know, it's just constantly keep on putting a bet on. If I lose, I've got to win that back. And if I've got to win that back by winning more than just putting the money on. And it's, you know, it's such a horrible disease, and it wants you on your own. You know, it's like, it doesn't want you around people.
Okay.
It wants you on your own. It wants you just, you know, I used to have arguments with my wife. So I'd have a load of money, or I'd be winning. And we used to have an apartment around the corner that we were trying to sell, but we had to move to a house literally around the block because we had kids and we outgrown a one-bedroom apartment. But I'd get up on a Sunday, and I know I'd have loads of money, and my wife would go, and we'd argue, and I'd start an argument. I'd go, oh, that's it, I'm off. I'd take the iPad, I'd go round the corner to the flat, I'd go and get my vodka or beer or whatever, and I'd sit in that apartment for 4 or 5 days, just punt. 4
or 5 days?
Days.
Days.
And you couldn't sleep. You couldn't sleep. Wouldn't eat. You know, it just takes your life over at the highest level, like anything. And then you'd lose it. You know, with drinking and drugging, it's a rugged down. It's a rugged down. It's like it comes down slowly. And, you know, with gambling, I've never seen anything like it. You're up here, you're winning, everything's great. Whew, gone.
Yeah.
And literally like that. And you're like, where's that gone? Wow. I wouldn't wish gambling on anybody. It's the worst addiction in the world. It's so silent. You know, how do you know I haven't lost £100,000 in the car since I come here?
Yeah.
Well, you can turn around and go, you ain't fucking got 100 grand, which you'd be right. But, you know, how would you know? But I could leave here. I could have got a lift here, drunk 6, 7, 8 cans of lager on the way here, and both of you, when I left, would have gone, he's had a drink, hasn't he?
Yeah.
More people commit suicide through gambling than anything.
Right.
You think, with gambling, it's silent, it's easy to hide. It's like, you go out for a drink, you come home, you go to your wife, oh yeah, I went out here, and you make up a lie. Within a month, you forgot that lie.
Right.
And they'll catch you out.
Yeah.
My wife will go then a month later, oh, you was at Soundslow the other week, weren't you? No. Oh, you said you was. But with gambling, you're not drunk. You remember everything. So you become a good liar. The thing is with it as well is when you're losing, you get more and more in debt. And your addiction tells you not to go and see your wife or your partner, your husband, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, because your addiction, they'll leave you. They'll leave you. And then, you know, because you always think, well, if I go and say that I've lost all this money, the thing that you're going to say is, I'm leaving you. Now, so then you chase and chase. You lend more money. Before you know it, you're so far in and people commit suicide. More people commit suicide than I wouldn't wish it on anybody.
Really?
It's such a compulsive addiction. You know, you can. How much can you put up your nose? How much can you drink?
Yeah.
You could lose a house. I've lost a house in America in 3 weeks.
3 weeks. Yeah, I never thought about it like that. I've had some alcoholism in my family, and like any addictions, like not fun, not just for the person, but for the family around them.
That's
but I never thought about the angle with the gambling being that, of course, you could hide it so much easier. If someone's drunk, and there's only so much you can drink in one day.
100%.
Whereas you could lose every single penny you've got in a day if you want
easily, and lend more and more and more, and just keep on lending. And the more you lose, the bigger your bets. You know, I never bought anything with my money. I never won a lorry load of money, and I had the money there, and I could pay every loan shark, and everything's done. You know, all this worry I had of paying loan sharks, make sure they weren't coming around my house meeting deadlines, and then I'd win, and I think, oh, just take the money, you could pay everybody back. You got a life at Riley, or, you know, just a peaceful life, just peaceful. And 20 minutes later, I'm sitting there thinking, what have I done?
Just powerless over it.
I've just lost it all again.
Do you think it was worse because obviously you earned a lot more money?
Yeah,
than the average person?
What you do, you fast track it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
If
you fast track someone who's got less money, it might take steadily. The thing I didn't have to do, I didn't have to steal. Do you know what I mean? I didn't have to steal, thank God. You know, I borrowed. Don't get me wrong, I borrow off people that had nowhere near as much money as me.
Right.
You know, you're ringing up, your dignity, your self-esteem just goes out the window. You're ringing people up that, you know, you got more money than them, and you're asking them to lend money, please, could you lend me some money? And
that must be strange with the person on the other end of the phone thinking, hang on, surely you've got all the money in the world. And
exactly. And it's not good for you. You know, in the addiction, you know, all you want is the money. Just want the money. Get the money, gamble it. When you come out of it, I look back on my life now, I think, fucking sad. You know, how could I have done that? How could I have done that? But I ended up in crack houses, and, you know, that's where my addiction took me. And it doesn't get better. Believe anybody listening to this podcast, addiction doesn't get better. Don't think, oh, you know, I'm a lager man. You know, I'll skip lager. Let's try wine. It doesn't get better. It's a steady. The aggression gets worse and worse in the end. There's no doubt about that. You know, I've never known anybody come into a GA meeting, which is a Gamblers Anonymous meeting, and go, couldn't stop winning. You know, I'll give it a rest, give someone else a chance. It's one way, and that's lose everything. Everything.
Do you think it affected your playing career? Would you have been a better player without your addictions?
That is an hard question, because I won everything, as I said, and played 700 odd games. You know, so I stayed fit. You know, I was... but when I did stop drinking and I went into treatment and I stopped gambling, I held the record for the most successive amount of games at Arsenal up until earlier this year when Saka beat it.
Right.
So if you
it didn't stop you showing up on a weekend.
Yeah, and you know, don't get me wrong, I wasn't one of them who steamed into 50-50 tackles. That's not my job.
Yeah.
You know, my job was to make things happen on a football pitch. It was up to other people to do that. That was their jobs, what they were good at. So, you know, that's why I probably stayed fit. But I was a functional alcoholic, functional compulsive gambler. You know, my dad learnt me a lot of things. Don't worry, you know, football as well. If it weren't for my dad, I wouldn't have been a footballer. But he learnt me one thing: turn up for work.
Okay.
You know, my dad was a coalman. You know, he had to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I never woke up and my dad was laying in bed. You know, he always got up for work. So that was one thing. But when you get older and the drinking got more and more when I finished playing, I look back now, drinking's a younger man's sport or a younger person's sport.
Yeah.
It's not for my age anymore.
So you said you ended up in crack houses. Do you think you're lucky to be here today?
Oh, 100%. 100%. You know, and that's why sometimes, you know, I'm open and honest, because I'm here for a reason. You know, I am. I'm sitting in crack houses. You know, I'm fortunate to play football. There was no phone cameras in them days.
Yeah.
You know, people were walking into crack houses, they're looking at it and double take and like.
You knew they recognised you.
Yeah, but it can't be him.
Right,
That
okay.
must be good gear. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
then they go, you know, and places I've been, you know, and you know, driving home one night in a car, fell asleep behind the wheel, no seatbelt on, hit the window screen. You know, the ambulance comes, said, I just can't believe you're alive. It's impossible. But they said you fell asleep because you fell asleep and you were so relaxed. You've hit the window screen and come back, and I just cut all my head open. You know, if I was awake, I'd have gone straight through. So, you know, I know I'm lucky, and that's why I always stay honest now. And did it make me play better? Part of it did, because my addictions, I was a free for all. I lived my life off the pitch, like not like it was my last day, but you know, I'm going to have fun, and I took that onto the pitch. I want to have fun. I don't want to be bored on the football pitch. You know, the players used to say to me, "Stop hitting the glory ball all the time. Stop hitting that." But that's how I bet, and that's how I drunk. I drunk to the end, and I gambled till my last penny. So I was always looking for that excitement, and that excitement was hitting that pass or putting the ball through, and fans going, oh, you know, wow, what's up? You know, that's the way I played. So yeah, the problem. The thing is now, the good thing, I'm aware. I'm aware of my actions, which is something that I wasn't years ago. I wasn't. You know, I like a cigar. I like a cigar. I've never smoked fags. I don't, but I do like a cigar.
Yeah.
I smoke crack.
Right.
I smoked that, but I didn't smoke cigarettes. I thought cigarettes were bad for you. Okay. But that's the madness of then when I was, 1994, 26, 25 years of age. That was the madness I was in. That I would think that that fags were worse.
If you enjoyed that was just a small segment from a conversation with Paul Merson. If you want to watch the full interview, you can do so right here.